Hello and welcome. You are here with me, Jill Maurer, and I have a special guest. This is Bobster92.
Hello.
Also known as Bobby. Isabel Ottawa requested that I do a video on why I'm Team Kelly, and that's Team Kelly versus Team Birkin. And since I don't have a Birkin, and Bobby does, we decided that Bobby would bring his Birkin and we will compare the two for you so you can see why I'm Team Kelly and Bobby is Team
Birkin.
Are you?
Well, find out. Stay tuned.
Right. Mine is a 28 centimeter, which means it's 28 across. It is a sellier, which means that it is stitched on the outside here. This is the sort of stiffer bag, and the Kelly comes in two styles. I think the Retorn is a little more similar to the Birkin, to be fair, but this is what I have, so this is what we're going to compare in comparing Kelly and Birkin. Mine is in gold epsom leather, and it has the palladium hardware. Bobby, what is your bag?
Okay, I have a Birkin 30. Well, this particular one is a Birkin Touch, but it is still standard to Birkin sizing and everything. It is a Birkin 30, which means that it's 30 centimeters across from the bottom here. And it is in black togo leather, and the Touch also just has a little bit of exotic. There is black matte alligator on it as well. And
Gold hardware, did you say?
Gold hardware.
The Kelly and the Birkin don't come in the same sizes. I think there's one case where they cross size. His is the 30. This bag comes in a 28 or 32. It doesn't come in a 30, so we could never compare exactly the 30 and the 30.
However, I have both sizes, and I find that the 32 is most similar to the size 30. The 28, in my opinion, is a little bit smaller.
It's a little smaller, but it won't matter as far as telling you the differences between the two and why I'm Team Kelly and why Bobby is Team Birkin. Let's start out with how they are similar. They do both have 4 feet on the bottom, and they do both have sort of this pinched side and this sort of triangular shape on the side.
Yeah, they both have the sangle, which this is what Hermes refers to as the sangles, which are these two pieces here. That's another common characteristic alongside with the twist lock and the lock and keys.
I do have keys, I just took them off mine, but mine does come with this same kind of thing. So all of that is very similar. Now let's talk about weight.
We already know, most of us, that the Birkin is a heck of a lot heavier than the Kelly. The first thing Jill said when she picked this up was, "Oh my God, are you carrying bricks?"
That is a much heavier bag, and part of the reason is there's just more to it. You might want to put this out so they kind of see how this comes out, because they look more similar when you do that. But the Birkin in a similar size is a lot heavier. This leather is a lighter weight leather than the kind of leather he has. So if you had that kind of leather on this Kelly, it would be a little heavier.
Yes.
It's just not as heavy as the Birkin.
Yeah, togo, just the nature of togo leather, it's thicker and it just has more weight to it than epsom. That's a key reason why people will choose epsom. Aside from it being more structured, is that it will,
It's lighter.
Yes.
It's lighter
it's
and
much
light.
lighter.
Even if I had this bag in a togo leather, this one would still be lighter. So for me, that's a pro. Bobby doesn't care as much because, you know, he's a lot stronger than I am, and he doesn't notice the difference as much as I do, but I notice the difference a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't even really notice it until you were comparing like each thing. Like when you were saying like, oh, this is heavy, oh, this is heavy.
Everything he puts in his bag is also heavy. I mean, he really carries a lot. Now let's talk about the handles. The Kelly just has one handle. When I open this, the handle kind of goes with it, but the Kelly just has one handle, and it's on the top of this leather that goes over the bag.
Yeah, whereas opposed to the Birkin, it has a handle on the front panel of leather and then a handle, on the back panel of leather. Another design difference with the handles is that the Kelly has glazing, if you will, in 2 spots, both in the front and on the back side, whereas the Birkin is there's just one piece of glazing on each handle, if that makes sense.
The Kelly has a little bit wider, even though this is a smaller opening, this has a wider thing to get your arm through, but you can still get your arm through, well, not as much. I can't get it through quite as much. So that is another thing that I like about the Kelly. But as far as handles go, there's something even better. I have something you don't have.
Oh.
A shoulder strap.
Yes.
So this, for me, is a wonderful advantage because this particular strap doesn't go crossbody, but I can order different straps either from Hermes or just put any strap on this that I want to. So I can make this crossbody, I can make it shoulder, and for me that is a huge advantage to this bag.
I'd say the same for me, and I chose a Kelly over a Birkin first, and it was solely because I could put it on my shoulder, have that hands-free ability to use both hands if I needed to, versus having to throw something on my arm or set it down on the floor, God forbid, or something like that.
Now we're going to talk about access, how you get in and out of the bag. Now keep in mind, because this is the sellier, it's a little bit stiffer bag. This is a little bit more prim and proper bag than the Retorn. They both work the same way, it's just this one's a little harder to get in and out of. So again, when you open this whole thing opens here. So you have to kind of pull this back and reach in. And it's not huge access. This whole thing would be a little softer if it were in the Retorn, but that's about all the access you have. Whereas with the Birkin,
yeah, it depends on if you want to close or leave your Birkin closed or leave it open. 99% of people leave it open because it is a nightmare trying to figure out how to close this all up, and I couldn't even imagine someone standing in a line and doing that. But with the Birkin, it is so much easier as you, especially in this leather, with the nature of this leather, you can really grab it and separate it.
Look at that. I mean, look at that. That is a huge difference. That is definitely an advantage.
Yeah, and you don't have to deal with any sort of other opening. You can just kind of take a peek in and reach in and grab whatever you want. Pretty ease.
I have to admit that is definitely an advantage to the Birkin. Here's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about though, and that is how you can decorate these bags. You would think that it would be exactly the same. It isn't.
Again, with the way that the handle is positioned on the Birkin versus the Kelly, the Birkin, for example, if you have a charm, I have this one right here, but you can slip it on to the bag, and when you are using the bag, the charm does not interfere with how you use the bag at all. Meaning when you try to get in the bag, you can still reach in, you don't have to deal with any sort of flap or any of this stuff flying around on the handle versus, or on the Kelly for instance, I'll show you.
I don't even keep my lock and key on my Kelly for this reason. I might do it sometimes. Many of you know this bag. I haven't had it for very long. But you see how now this is in the way. This is in the way of where I get into the bag. I apologize for the airplanes and stuff. We are in a hotel in DC, and there is nothing we can do about it.
There's no way you can stop all the ambulances and police and
yes. You see how when I go to open this bag, I do have to negotiate with this charm now. This charm is going to start flipping around. Now, what I would do is just throw it back, but you do have to kind of work with it, and then you do your thing, and then you put it back, and then now I have to go, okay, whoops, that got stuck on the handle, and we're back.
Yeah, if you're using the bag for a few days on it, it kind of almost becomes second nature, at least with me, because I'm really OCD with how things are positioned. So like I would want to make sure that the charm and clochette are sitting properly on the Kelly. So I would just fix it after each time after opening and closing it. I know some people that would drive them bonkers up the wall, but for me it just takes a few seconds to just fix it and make it look better.
There's another advantage to the Kelly though that I've seen you do.
On this piece of hardware, it's better for like if you have a Carmen charm or something that has just the old style key ring instead of a clasp. But these little, I can't remember what these are called, these little toggles here work very well with putting on a Carmen charm or something.
If you see it from the side, I don't know if you can show that, it's just a U. So
you can kind of just slip something right on and
top.
have it hang there.
Whereas with this bag, there's nothing similar to those bars. There's no, the sangles, you know, they just go on here.
And they'll just kind of hang.
Yeah, I mean, and I can close it up as you saw, but they can just hang. but I don't have those things to put any, to decorate it in any way.
Yeah, I don't have any charms that would work with this particular bag because it is gold, and a lot of Hermes charms are predominantly silver hardware. So I wouldn't use one of those on this bag, but I could use it on another.
The reason that I'm Team Kelly is I just like the aesthetics a little better of the Kelly, although I do think this is a beautiful bag, don't get me wrong. If I could only have one, which right now that's all I have, I like the aesthetics better of the Kelly. It just fits my personality well. But the other thing is that really when you're looking at a Kelly and a Birkin, the trade-off is weight versus access. And this bag has better access, but this bag is lighter, and I can manage weight better because I have this option of a shoulder strap. And this is what makes me Team Kelly. I do agree that that is better access. However, I'm willing to trade that off for the shoulder strap and for the bag being lighter.
And I would say that I'm Team Birkin because I like having the ease of access, being able to get in here. I like being able to see everything in here really quickly and be able to see again quickly and grab out and reach what I need to. I also like just that a Birkin seems a little bit more casual for everyday use versus a Kelly. I feel like a Kelly is a very dinner appropriate bag, a very, not evening, but it's more appropriate in formal settings, whereas this I think is just more of an everyday kind of just, that's so crazy to say, but this is like just more everyday, more casual, more leisurely, whereas that is very sophisticated.
Now that being said, the materials you have and the different things you do can change it. This bag can still go out to dinner, especially as it gets smaller. The fact that his is a touch with a little bit of the crocodile or the alligator does make it a little fancier. And I do think that the retorn, if you had a retorn, that's a little more casual, where the bag was turned inside out and it wasn't so stiff here. In this case though, I think that my palladium hardware and the fact that this is gold as opposed to black does make it a little more casual. So you can play with these things, and it just depends on your style, because even when I'm casual, I'm not in tennis shoes. I'm not that casual. I'm in ballet flats casual. Just depends on your style, how much you value weight, how much that matters to you, whether you want a shoulder strap, and how picky you are about ease of access, and also just what appeals to you, what calls to you more.
I'd say more people start off on Team Birkin, and then once they either play with both or realize the key features that they like, I think most people go over to Team Kelly, and it's a big reason I hear why is because of that shoulder strap.
This bag has been made longer. This is a much older bag than this one. They've both been around for a long time though, and they've both proven themselves. They will be around. This bag to my eye looks a little bit younger, but again, you can be 90 and carry this, and you can be 20 and carry this. So it just depends on what you like.
It's all about how you carry the bag.
Yeah, and your preferences. We hope that helped. That is why I am Team Kelly.
And that's why I'm Team Birkin.
And hopefully we helped you make a decision about which one you like better. Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I will link Bobby's channel below so you can make sure to subscribe to him as well.
Bye for now.